Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Stikz from Laurel Sponseller. And thank you to my fellow Tangle addict Rosita for recommending this one. Uh, all right, this is a cute one. All right, well, we're going to start off with a Squished Orb. And I'm going to see if I can make this thing bend. We'll see. So I'm calling it a squished orb because we use orbs. We use the word orb instead of circle, so that way, because circle just has too much pressure. So same thing, squished orb versus oval. Then we're going to put some next to it. And this, I'm kind of starting from it, as you can see. So not necessarily tracing over this, although, if you wanted to, you could. And I'm just going to, we'll put a couple. This is a neat one because you can do this however you want, frankly. So I'll just put three. I'm basically copying or using the step out as the guide. All right, then, and actually, well, although I'm going to modify it right here. So we can put some, well, I'll just do it right now. Never mind me talking to myself. So you can put some orbs wherever you want, in these little crevices. But then when you want to kind of make this turn, then put a big orb in, and then, let's see, I'm thinking a couple ways you could do this. One, you could just put a big orb in, and then maybe starting from the bottom, like so, come out like that. That was a little different than in my playing with it than I did. So let me do it, and then you could fill in orbs as you go. Here's how we'll do a second one this way with just a couple orbs here. Here's how I did it in my playing with it. That was a neat experiment, and you can do it whatever way works for you. But here I started on the edge of the orb, and then traveling down, so that way I wouldn't necessarily go over them. So traveling down and then aiming for here, where then I curved it back up and over. That seems to be what has worked for me. And see how much nicer that is than that one. But at the same time, as we know, unless you're new to Zentangle, there's no such thing as a mistake. Whatever happens, happens. It's all good. So let's do another one. So this way, what's fun with this is that you can kind of have it bend and turn and twist however you want it to. So if I kept going this way, it's going to bend. Let's do another one, just because. I'll run out of room because I'm working on this teeny tiny tile. And if you end up kind of, like where it might collide, then we just use the hollow bow technique, which is kind of like this, where, we start part way through and imagine that, oh, the other part is right behind here. So for instance, now I've lost it. Oh, here, I kind of made this narrow, but I could have just stopped here, picked it up at the end. Either way it works. That's what's nice about this tangle. Either way it works. So then you can put some orbs on the bottom if you wish. And then same idea. And then so you can, line up a couple of them if you want. Let's do another big one. And just playing with these orbs and have it go wherever you want it to go. Or even if, like, I have really no rhyme or reason, I'm just doing, and that's kind of fun too. A lot of times these tangles I shy away from because I like to have structure and not have to make it up on my own. And yeah, so but yeah, so and then take a look at the For More Inspiration link, and because that will link to Tangle Patterns where this is housed, and look at the samples because it'll give you some extra ideas. And, saying if you have a big enough space, then you can just, weave it around. This would work nicely as well. So if you do Zentangle the traditional way, as the method describes, and and you have a frame, or at the very minimum, you have a string line. This could be really neat, where you put this along that pencil string line, and then that's how you decide what direction to go. And I'm gonna let me just throw something else out there, because I just thought of it. Because if you were working, say, on a string line, you could, well, like, I could either put an orb here, or I could start a new one and have it go in at a particular direction, kind of working backwards, and then fill it in with a ginormous orb. But you could do it that way too. So it just depends on what works for you. Now, I would recommend. Well, let me finish my thought. I'd like to interrupt myself. I'm so rude. So it's a great idea to kind of fill in these gaps. It makes it look finished. It just adds for a really nice touch. So very carefully filling in the little gaps. And oh yeah, it looks like she did do that on hers there. And of course, it is a personal choice. Everything is, um, but we like to do it because it makes it look nice. It makes things pop too, as you can see. So you can see, like, the difference from here to here. It, like I said, it just finishes it off. Could also say, like, in here, if you wanted to add, say, rounding. So at the little tops, just round it off a little bit, like so. That's nice. And then adding orbs wherever you see fit, in the little gaps. Doesn't have to be every single one, just wherever you want to, and that is fun, because then for me, if it's you feel like I'm being super creative, and that's good. It's playtime. That's what it should be. Fun playtime. All right, so let me finish this. Um, as far as shading goes, well, we could. So I'm looking at her sample to see. You could do it a number of ways. And actually, let me also mention that I like Linda's little thumbnail that you'll see on Tangle Patterns, on that link, where she auras the entire, does an aura around the whole thing. That is also a really nice finishing touch. But here's some things, yeah, that we could do. Number one, with the orbs, and I like how she did this. I call them swoosh marks. It's just a little curve line, and just like this. That's it. Just a little curve. Well, actually, and that's a little bit straight, but just very little. It's almost like adding a shine, sort of. If you want to get real fancy, you could. There's a lot of other techniques that you could utilize, for those orbs, with shading and stuff. But I'm just thinking, because there's so many different ways. Well, actually, you know what? We could, if we put little graphite where we put that swoosh mark, I could, like, let it just, the ink settle in just a little bit, though. Well, and actually, it could just go on that one side. Put those right in the middle. They look like eyeballs. And if you do this really small, it's helpful. I should look for. Well, I don't have one handy. We won't worry about it. A newer tortillon or something, so that way, you get the graphite just where you want it, not where you don't. Yeah, but that's neat. So it doesn't have to be just a little bit on one side. That's really all it needs, and it makes them stand out a little bit. Okay, here's the thought I'm having. let's do, since I was putting the graphite kind of just on that one side, let's do this. Careful. I'm just going to try the first three and we'll see what it looks like. Oh, yeah. And it's like, again, mine are small, so I need to be a little bit more careful. I'm trying to just get it right on that edge because you need to leave a little bit of the natural tile color in there so that way it makes a difference. Otherwise, it's just filling it in gray, which, if that's the aim, of course, that's fine. And then, too, every once in a while, just use what's left on your tortillon because you might be surprised. Actually, and sometimes the thinner ones, it's better to save the leftover graphite for those. And also, sometimes just doing a back and forth motion um, instead of a circular motion, or like this where you're just kind of scooching it, that works too. Because it's like you want it to spread out. Oh, and see now that just makes it look like a bunch of rocks. How neat! And then too, you could have fun with because you could put some just at the bottom. You could do it on the outside. Actually, we could still do it on the outside. Let's do this. Oh no, wait. Let's do it differently. I love what I have one thought and then it immediately becomes another thought. Let's just do like a shadow. So it's an aura of the graphite, and I didn't need to make it wiggly, did I? Because I just blurted out with with the tortillon. So that's kind of neat. Could do it to the top too if you wanted to. Could bring it right up against and make it really dark and make that would make it pop. Um, Lots of neat ideas. Really, really cool. Thank you, Rosita, for this suggestion. And yeah, neat, neat. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all of that kind of stuff. Check the description section for the step outs as well as ways to connect with me. So if you enjoyed this, maybe you want to join me for a class, join our Tangle Addicts community. If you happen to be on Facebook, I do have a link down there for our private group. I do, just as a warning, I do ask I have some required questions because I want to set a good tone for the group. So they are required. I see some people that they either don't answer or, maybe they answer one and it's like, yep, nope, that, decline. Sorry. Just giving you a warning. So you can check that out. It's nothing, super serious, but I do explain on there. And on my website, you can check out the link for classes. If you, like I said, if you want to join me, I do free classes once a week, and actually it's 2 sessions once a week, and then I do have some paid classes as well. And again, would love to have you join us. We have a lot of fun and create a lot of neat work. So, with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.